Hello, and welcome to the much maligned First Issue Club. We're your weekly comic book podcast where, just like Sue Storm, we love a good read.
Folks, can I just say, this episode brought to you by the undying spirit and will to bring you an episode.
That's true.
What a journey we've gone on behind the scenes to make sure that all the T's are dotted and the I's are crossed, and that all computer malfunctions have been corrected. That's how committed we are to bringing you comic book news and First Issue Club reviews.
Content freaks. It's all you want and it's all you need.
Wow, that was a good Jack Nicholson.
One of the things that I hate right now is there will be like stuff to consumers that is like, get all your content via ESPN and it's like sister applications. Mm-hmm. And it's like, is that what sells to us now? The promise of content?
A bundle.
Like, does Joe Schmo on the street is just like, I can't get enough content.
Yeah. What's your content generator? Who do you use? Are you a Hulu or an ESPN guy?
Yeah.
Where did sister app come from? That terminology.
Just like something being a sister in general?
Or like, why would we call it like a sister app? It just seems weird. Like, that seems weird terminology to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I like it.
You do?
Well, I think it's familial, and there's too much machismo in our society, if you ask me. My personal preferences. Add a little bit of femininity to that relationship between techs.
Let's girl boss this terminology up.
Yeah.
In fairness, it is 2024, and we could use the word companion. Mm-hmm. Gender neutral companion.
I feel like you do hear companion used quite a bit.
As far as like
like a companion
like a
app.
partner,
Yeah,
whatever.
I'm working on a smartwatch thing right now, and it's like a companion app.
Oh, right on. Okay. Just keep the pronouns out of it is what big tech is telling you.
You're working on a hot girl app.
Hey, sis.
there you go.
When everyone's talking about the app, they just say, how's sis?
She's vibing.
We are here to talk to you about C2E2.
The primary Chicago con for First Issue Club.
We got the real con experience because one of us was hit with con crud.
Yeah, I came back with Cove.
The Cove.
Like the worst con crud you can get. And in that part
and we
of
didn't get it.
Yep.
It's so wild to me still to this day.
Well, it's because we were sneezing on each other and not.
Yeah,
not
I took
Mike.
that weird horse medicine. That's why I'm not. That's
right.
why I
the
didn't
ivermectin.
get it.
I think there is something to be said about how anal about germs that I am, that I have maybe lack of exposure to things that other people build up certain tolerances that I do not get because I'm a freak.
Yeah.
And you guys know how I lick every surface I touch.
Exactly right. He's always pulling gum off the back of movie theater seats and chewing them.
Yeah. I'm constantly coughed on and licked and have to clean up things.
We are excited we got to go to C2E2. We had a panel there. This episode is a little different than your typical episode of First Issue Club. So if this is your starting point, wow.
Wowie,
wow. We're glad you're here, and we're excited to tell you about how the con went.
But lower your expectations for the rest of the series.
Yeah.
And normally what we do is we talk about first issues, onboard you to new series that we're excited about, and talk about buzzworthy new things happening in comics and
Time permitting.
some comic book news and comic book industry stuff as well. Patreon happens where we do some extra content and stuff over there. Like I just said, content's a great, a great sales pitch. Episodes, I should rather say, if I'm going to heed my own advice, that we do episodes, articles, and a couple bonus things.
Do we have a sister app yet?
I don't know if you'd consider the
Instagram.
I would consider the Patreon the sister show.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because we release that once weekly alongside the regular episode.
The main, as we call it.
Right.
The main vein of comic book stuff.
So we're going to show you all of our fun spoils that we got at C2E2. So if you're so inclined to use the video tier, I guess not really a tier, free to all now.
Yeah. Well, actually, this is on YouTube.
Yeah.
We've unlocked this, so this is going to be on
the
YouTube
main.
for everybody.
Yeah.
So if you want to see the things instead of just hear us talk about them, hop over there.
Yeah.
And you'll get an eye full of all the fun stuff we bought. Do we want to start with experiences or do we want to start with treasures?
So let's just we went to C2E2 this year. We had a panel, courtesy of Botter Milligan from the Shortbox podcast and Chris and Aaron from the Oblivion Bar Pod. We did a crossover episode, just kind of talking about comic books that we are excited about in 2024, as it is the year that we are in. Sorry, kind of got mixed up in my brain there. And so it was fun to finally meet those guys in real life. We got out after the con, hit a couple bars, and got some dinner. So a huge thank you to them for including us and for just being rad people in the comic book podcasting sphere. It is a small sphere, but it is sometimes treacherous to find friends in that realm.
Certainly.
So that was cool. And then really, after the panel, we were left to our own devices and credit card debt be damned. We had us a time.
That's how you do it. I feel like especially when I travel for a convention, I'm like, screw it. I'm here.
Yeah. I've already started saving for next year.
Yeah. That's the way to go. Just like have a lump sum of money that is like, this is what I'm comfortable spending, and have fun with it.
And then spend double that.
Yeah. Just get comfortable. It's like, listen, I've already blew past my limit. What's a little more?
Hey, if that's the way you got to ride,
ride, baby.
Ride, baby. At worst case scenario, you're supporting awesome people who are making awesome things, right?
Yes.
I love it.
So this year we did like a different kind of con experience. I noticed that we all on Friday kind of looked at each other and said, I have this to do as soon as I walk in. We'll meet up in about 20 minutes. And we all kind of just splintered as soon as we walked in, which is kind of like the last year we went, we all stayed clumped together, I thought. And I think we all got a little more comfortable in our shoes and began to wander more.
An ability to find each other, too. I think.
Yes, we all had giant red flags attached to our backpacks.
I will say there was times when at C2E2 that the people were having issues with Square. And no one brings cash to cons anymore, I feel like.
Which, if you've listened to our con talk, bring cash.
Bring cash was one of our top tips. So this would have been a great time to have a fistful of dollars because a lot of people were just like, you're going to either wait here for 15 minutes to buy this thing or you're going to have to go to an ATM and come back with cash.
Right.
And the ATM fees at a convention hall, it's like you're paying $5 to get your money out.
Yeah.
Which sucks. But
it's highway robbery.
Yeah. You want to view your balance first?
Yeah, $5.
Another $5.
I spent $20 just to get all my money out.
But that being said, Friday, the con hall wasn't so clogged. Those kind of like billing issues and connectivity issues started on Saturday when the hall was just like so full of people that you couldn't do anything. To your point about like us being rabid and like, these are the things I need to get done. One, we had an hour before the panel started. And so it was like, what are the things that have potential to sell out that I want that we like all ran for?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, Friday's the day, and this is reigned true from our experiences before in this past time. Friday's the day where lines are lightest. You're going to have the easiest time getting the things that you need to do, walking around. It's the best day to talk to people if you're a conversationalist, and that's a big part of why you go to like have a personal moment with creators that you love. Like Friday's the day to do it because Saturday everyone's pissed and frustrated. Like it sucked a couple of times seeing like some creators that I love who are just like so shell-shocked and over it.
Yeah.
Because they were just like, just a constant stream of people in your face.
And people still don't get it.
Yeah, there's an excitement to Fridays where it's just like, and I feel like you've got your really vetted con goers on Fridays, right?
Yeah.
And then on Saturdays, kind of leading into what you were saying. You get a different crowd of people who maybe doesn't understand social courtesies as well.
Yeah. Also, just fucking rude.
Yeah, right.
While Andy
which I honestly I get some too. It's like if you waited in line for an hour to get Jorge Jimenez's autograph, and then
which no one was doing.
And then
that was a quick line. It was in and out. You just went to Jorge's line to look at him.
Yeah.
And then he gets up for a panel or something when you're like 10 people back, and you're like, okay, now I have to wait here an hour while this guy gets up and does a panel. Like, that's frustrating. So everybody's frustrated. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You kind of gotta, I don't know. There's a way to handle every convention in a way that's for you, just to like set yourself up for success. I feel like we're con vets in a way where I'm just like ready for stuff like this. That
we get there early enough where we know
what to do and when to do it.
And it's just I think I was more getting at of just like the person who I saw while waiting for Chip Zdarsky.
Oh, okay.
Who had 25 books to sign, Jorge Jimenez to sign.
Wow.
It had to have been more than 25.
And it's just like, you need every one of those signed? You need every one of his Batman books to be signed?
So we're creeping, instead of the highlights, we're almost starting.
We're wandering into.
We're starting with the lowlights, which is more so our segment that we're going to do called Tales from the Con.
Love that bit.
Let's go round robin.
Yep.
And just kind of talk through some of our experiences that you at least feel comfortable sharing on our main episode today. I think there's going to be some tales from the con that we reserve for
the Patreon.
For the Patreon.
Because we will be naming names.
Yeah.
I'll go first because
there's a couple in particular that I can already think of that I'm like,
I'll go first.
I don't want to say these on the main
shout
episode.
out to the person on Friday who had to make sure 3 times that Tim Seeley heard him request a naked version of Hack Slash for his commission.
Yeah.
I can't imagine, and this is why I wish I was like a handler for people like this, because after the second time he said, can you make sure she's naked? I would have been like, Jack, here's your $50 back. We're not doing this anymore. Like, Tim Seeley politely said, I got you. Yeah, I got it. I hear you. He had to say that 3 times so the guy knew that the character he was going to be getting back would be completely unclothed.
So bizarre.
But also, like, it's Tim Seeley. You can say it once, and Tim's like, I got you.
He knows what he does.
Yeah, exactly. And he's
doesn't
not shy about it.
Yeah. But it's just like the fact that this person was so adamant and really wanted to make sure that he's like, if I'm going to spend $80, I better see every inch of that is troubling, 1.
Yeah.
And 2, a little sad that he had to make sure. He's like, I really would prefer it to be no clothes.
Can you put a clear coat on it?
Yeah.
Really water seal it?
really make this crisp. So that's the first one. I mean, that's the one that jumps right to my brain.
Oh, man.
Andy?
Oh, I think the best one was... Well, maybe is the Chip Zdarsky one.
Okay, I'm good because I have a different one.
Okay.
But that was you and I.
And I'll say this at the top: everyone involved handled it like a total pro, right? Okay.
Oh, I don't know what's gonna happen here.
So Mike, well, all 3 of us were in line. Mike was 2 people ahead of us. You were first in line,
right?
So Mike gets his stuff done, no problem. It takes 15 minutes to get his little sketch done. And he moves on. Yeah. The next guy in line he's getting 2 full sketches.
I know where this is going.
Inside of like little autograph books, not on a comic, right? And he requests, it was Kazoo from the Flintstones.
Right.
And Link from Zelda.
Right. First of all, 2 characters Chip Zdarsky has never
drawn.
This man just wanted him to sketch them.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that Kazoo is like not completely off base for Zdarsky. That's like a weird enough character that I think he would like get a kick out of it.
With enough, it's kind of like Batman. With enough prep,
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, exactly.
He could.
So he like pulls up a reference photo, and Chip does his thing, and they end up looking great.
Of course, yeah, they're
because
phenomenal.
Chip's a pro.
Yeah.
And, he's talking to the guy and everything's going great. And then he finally finishes both these things and moves on. And Chip stands up and, like, leans over to his handler and, like, whispers in her ear. He's like, no more of that. Like,
Only characters that I know.
yeah, he's like, I need Daredevils, Batmans, and Howards. Like,
Yeah. And he was Chip, complete gentleman, and was just like,
oh, yeah.
Okay, great.
Total pro, totally nice guy. But man, you could tell when the guy was like, do you know Kazoo from the Flintstones? Chip was like, oh my God, this is the second guy in line.
So, con tip number 752. Pick your commissions correctly.
Yeah.
I think this is a thing wherein if you go up to somebody who is less of a name, somebody who doesn't have a line of like 300 people already,
Yeah.
and are like, hey, you've drawn like 10 Wolverines, like this, like you're past several conventions. Like,
Yeah.
is there something like interesting you want to do? Here are some ideas on my list. I think that's the energy you come at it with.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, if you're in line with somebody who's just like trying to get shit done and get through a line.
Also,
like,
Chip's line the whole con, gigantic.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, 2-hour line.
I've never seen a line that long, and it was actually awesome to see because Chip Zdarsky, a club favorite, finally like getting like the heat he deserves for his awesome runs on Batman, Daredevil, Spider-Man, every indie book you can think of. So like that kicked ass. But to hold up the line longer because you won a Kazoo commission is a little
so
rough.
Bizarre.
And I'll say this too. When I walked up there, I was like, I'm not going to say anything to Chip. I'm just going to let him do his little sketch and like move on. Because I know he's got to be like worn out. And he was like kicking up a conversation with me.
Yes.
And I was like, that's very cool.
Yeah.
Like for him to like actively engage with people and want to do that.
Yeah.
When I was just going to like totally give him the out.
Yeah.
And just have a moment of silence.
He was great.
Yeah.
So his handler was like, how do you know those guys? And I kind of talked about how we had a podcast and stuff. So we had already started a rapport about like podcasting. And then when I got up to Chip, she mentioned that we were on a podcast together. And then we started talking about like travel companions and how do you travel with friends and like those like weird things you go through. And it was just like a really fun, genuine conversation that I was just like, wow, I'm shooting the shit with Chip Zdarsky like he's just like a buddy.
Hey, look at me.
And we're connecting on stuff that's not like just like, oh, Batman and Spider-Man are cool.
Yeah.
So like that's always fun.
You could hear the background music like "Come with me and you'll see." Mike D was on cloud 9.
my smile was like ear to ear.
Yeah.
I met him at LA Comic-Con where I had him do a cover. Oh, let me grab it. It's up here.
Oh yeah, your Kazoo?
Your Kazoo custom cover?
So this is my on our video feed Batman that I had him doodle, and that kind of gives you the idea of what Chip Zdarsky does. If you wait for a commission, you bring a blank cover or a piece of paper, and he'll do like a quick watercolor that takes like 5-10 minutes and shoot the shit with you. But I was kind of like nervous because it was the first time I'd ever met him at a convention, and his handler was the same lady, and she was very cool.
Yeah.
And kind of talked to me through everything, and I was like, you're calming my nerves. Like she could like tell I was like, I'm nervous to meet Chip because he's like one of my like top 5 guys. And she immediately recognized me and was like,
nervous guy.
I know you. Yeah. And she was just like, you were at the like one of the last conventions I was at. And I was like LA Comic-Con, and she was like, yes.
She handed you a Xanax.
And blah blah blah. And she was like, this guy was at as soon as I walked up to Chip, she was like, this guy was at LA Comic-Con. He was so nervous to meet you. And I was just like, thanks for ratting me out. Like right away. I was just like, my playing it cool is out the window, Chip. And he was just like, all good, all good.
That's amazing.
So then you got to play it up, right? And be like, oh, sir, nice to meet you.
Yeah, exactly.
Start dripping sweat from every pore.
Well met, my lord.
Yeah. Sign my katana?
I am not worthy, senpai.
What do you know about Bushido Blade?
Okay, so my tales from the con is Andy and I were waiting in a line of one to get something signed by Mirka and Dolfo.
Oh my God.
Do you know what I'm going to say?
Yeah.
And there's a guy walking Mirka through.
Hold on, wait. You have to preface it by saying Mirka is Italian and like
Oh, yeah.
she speaks English well, but like it is not her first language.
No, it's not her first language. She's, sometimes you got to like.
She has to have her books translated.
Yeah, exactly
like,
right.
when it's written for
exactly
English.
right. She's not translating. Like Steve Orlando translates a handful of her books.
Oh, right on. Yeah.
There is a guy in front of us who is detailing Watergate.
I thought it was Bill Clinton.
Oh, sorry, not Watergate, Whitewater.
Yes.
Who is detailing the Whitewater scandal to Mirka and Dolfo and getting into like Clinton's presidency and all these like obscure details of like business partnerships with his Arkansas family, and she's like, yeah, cool, and then like me and Andy are like, oh my God, behind, and she starts looking at us like, what is happening? And we have this like shared moment of panic. Like this could go on for 5 minutes. This could go on for like half an hour.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know how to get out of it.
Was he getting books signed or what? He's just like
she-
shooting the shit.
It was done.
Yeah.
It wasn't like she was still signing stuff. It was just like, she's done signing the things. And now you are keeping her prisoner.
Yeah.
With like conversation that she's like, one, she grew up in Italy. She's got like, how much context or interest does
Yeah.
she have in like the Whitewater scandal? And she's just like, oh, cool. Like,
It's like that guy thought she was wearing a shirt that said, like, talk to me about Whitewater.
yeah.
And it's like, I would have loved to know, like, what set him off to be like, oh, she would love to hear about this.
And I feel like she appreciated us being a part of it. Like some of the glances we exchanged, she was just like, okay, I'm not crazy, right?
right.
This is crazy.
No, yeah.
The capstone to that is like, as he was walking away, he said something along the lines of like, oh, I'll find you later, and
Yes.
like keep the conversation going.
And she's just like, no, you won't.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh man.
and
That was demented. I feel like you gotta like, you're excited to meet these people. You gotta just like, once they're done with your book or whatever it is, I would say you've got 15 seconds to pull the ripcord.
Yeah.
Unless you're Jill Thompson.
I love Jill
This
Thompson.
is, yeah, I think this is Patreon combo
for sure
territory.
it is.
Yeah.
For sure it is.
Yeah, because I want to
But,
talk about
yeah,
that for 20 minutes.
Salute to Jill Thompson. That's like, yeah, a longer Patreon conversation.
In a good way. She was
In a
awesome.
good-
She was
fantastic
awesome.
way.
In a great way, but it's, yeah.
She kept apologizing, but we're just like, we could talk to you for like
Yeah.
40 more
Yeah,
minutes. This is
yeah,
amazing.
She talked to us for a long time, yeah.
So I want to give a quick shout out to the guy who talked to me about chemtrails.
Oh, yeah, the
Unprompted.
parking lot guy.
Walked up to me and said, "What a beautiful blue sky." You'll notice that because there's no chemtrails in the sky.
Yeah,
and I don't know why.
Well, you say
I don't know why people think they can open with that line.
you say he talked to you about it. You what you meant was he opened your eyes.
Yeah, my third eye just was opened. I felt aligned with the earth. I was standing with your fiance, Kara, enjoying the sun because we were waiting for our Uber. You guys were in the shadows for whatever reason.
I
Okay,
can't allow sun to touch me.
I have a thing to say after this, but go ahead.
And so this guy just, I don't like conspiracy people that just feel the need to spread the crazy uninvited.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if this guy's like handing out pamphlets that say chemtrails ? And I
you're
go,
like, I'm interested in
Yes,
this.
and I go,
Yeah.
oh, what's this? Then you have full access to tell me about it.
Yeah.
But if I'm standing in the sun enjoying a Thursday afternoon, do not approach me with your crazy shit.
And he was at work.
He was at work.
He was working the parking lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was getting paid to talk to me about chemtrails.
I just noticed your floral Hawaiian shirt is also a Captain America shirt.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
It's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really cool, but
I
like,
got this
why?
for my birthday. I think they got it from...
Did Marvel make it?
It's a Marvel shirt.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
For when you want to relax and also be a nerd.
And also rep, yeah.
This is what I call
That's cool.
a covert nerd shirt.
Yeah, totally. It doesn't like scream like
No, it doesn't scream like a dweeb.
intellectual property.
No.
Like I kind of hate wearing stuff that's like I'm a corporate shill.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, dude, I would absolutely wear "I'm a corporate shill" T-shirt.
Sponsored by Hulu. No, I mean, I got this for my birthday. It's a pink floral Hawaiian shirt with little Captain America shields on it.
This is all the stuff you're missing
Very
on the YouTube.
subtle.
All right. Okay, my thing on this was there's a thing with these people where they know when people are trapped. And it's like you're waiting for an Uber.
Captive audience.
There's nowhere you
yeah.
can go. You're a captive audience.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the thing with like our whitewater guy and
Anyone who's worked a service industry knows this.
Well,
has had this experience.
I used to work retail, and you would have your people come in who were just lonely.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
would just talk to you, and it's like
No. They would talk at you.
they would talk at you, and it's like at some point I'm gonna have to kick you out of the store,
Oh yeah.
and like because you're never gonna pick up social cues. You don't care.
Yeah.
Like you just want to talk to somebody.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm not brave enough to be like, shut the fuck up.
So,
And they
Well,
know that
totally.
when they see into my eyes.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And I used to work this job where I would do pyrotechnics for the Kansas City Royals.
Mm-hmm.
And during the World Series, I would stand in the outfield because they do like special fireworks for like home runs, big plays, announcements, stuff like that. And when we would do those and I would be stationed more in the outfield, I would be partnered with someone from the fire department. And the fire department was just there to be like, I'm observing, making sure everything's above board. More than anything, they're just like watching
A free game.
a free playoff game.
Yeah. Where's my hot dog?
And one of the guys, I would walk up and see him there and just be like, no,
Not crazy Tom.
this is going to ruin my night. Even if it was like a World Series game that the Royals won, it was still just like not worth it. He would talk to me about like, and he wouldn't want to like tell me stuff. He wants to like lead me there. So
Oh,
he would
yeah.
be like, women, what do they do? And I would be like, what? Anything I do?
Yeah.
Except pee standing up, maybe?
Yeah.
Like, what are you trying to like guide me to? But I remember him like doing this convoluted series of questions to lead me to
War. What is it
That-
good for?
that birth control was in our water system.
God, I hope
and
so.
it was hitting me when I was in the shower, and that was making me more of like a wuss or something.
All true. All true.
Which is why this man smelled terrible.
Absurd human being, but like definitely like so excited to have a captive audience and would just like tell me all of his ridiculous shit for like 3 hours straight. It was a
Love
nightmare.
that he's a public servant with a pension.
Right.
Love that.
All right, back to C2E2.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about the panel at all, or do we want to get to treasures?
So the panel,
Yeah.
Botter was nice enough to give us the raw audio and video, so we will be posting that
right
to
on.
our main feeds in the next week or so.
Great.
So if you want to, you can go listen to it now over on the Shortbox Patreon page,
Yep.
which I'll leave a link for that in the description on Twitter. So go check that out, or you can wait and we'll play it here on our feed in about a week.
Yeah.
And it was a great time.
Those guys were awesome.
It was a blast.
Boddard did an amazing job of like organizing a panel that was like fun and engaging. You hear like, podcast groups getting together, like what's that going to be? We've all been to like a panel where we're just like, oh no, I feel trapped.
Yeah.
Like you walk in and you're like, do I get up and walk out of this?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, we locked the doors for sure. No one's leaving.
it was it was so well organized and it was easy breezy and structured in a way that allowed all the panelists to talk about things that they were passionate about in a fun and exciting way that like never got too bogged down in like annoying details. It was like fun if you were a comic book reader and fun if you were a new person. I do feel like the panel started like an hour into Condor's opening day one. And I do feel like that is the absolute worst time slot for a panel. So that was kind of a drag.
Is it the best time slot
Well,
for
I guess just because you don't have to deal with as many riffraff.
Yeah.
But
Well, we broke a lot of fire codes. There was about 500 people in that room.
It's true.
Just stuffed into that room.
Yeah, Joe Quesada would not stop talking to us.
Yapping the entire time.
CB Cebulski would not stop offering us jobs.
It was crazy.
So, yeah. In any case, kudos to everybody. I sat out. It was just too many people talking, and I've got clammy hand syndrome when I get in front of people. So
No, it's because we wouldn't have had enough microphones for you.
yeah, exactly right.
You took the bullet, really.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's see here. I will say, if you're a con vet or a new connoisseur, go Fridays. If there's a Friday option, always go Friday. Take off work if you can. Just go early. Creators are fresh.
Yep.
Lines are shorter. You're more likely to get like a cooler commission, maybe, or like they're more lenient on how many books they'll sign. It's just everyone is just more fresh and ready to meet you.
Andy, I specifically want to know from you. This was your first C2E2.
Yes,
And maybe the biggest con you've ever been to.
easily.
What was your experience, and would you recommend it?
Honestly, it didn't feel that much different from Planet.
Really?
Yeah,
I am shocked.
It just,
I wholeheartedly disagree.
I mean, it was just everything was just on a bigger scale. The room was bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't it wasn't significantly more or less jammed with people.
Yeah.
Because the room was bigger. There were more people there, obviously, but like you had more room to dig around. There was just more there. It just was on a bigger scale. You know, in terms of like the presence of creators that were there, in terms of the number of vendors that were there. I didn't get to see half of the like booths that had short boxes. I barely did any digging.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that we didn't really do that much as well. We kind of came up short on digging.
I think I went to 2 booths.
I went to one booth when I was waiting for you guys on Saturday and completed 3 different runs of comics.
Yeah.
Like, there was one booth that I was like, oh my God.
You have it all.
They have every comic I've ever wanted. in like 100 by 100 square foot like box. Like,
Excuse me, is this heaven?
yeah, it was unbelievable. And I feel like we just don't have those sort of vendors in Kansas City that are just like,
Here's every comic you ever thought of.
here's just like complete fucking runs.
What I know you completed New Mutants.
New Mutants. I completed Firepower and I completed Sex Criminals.
Oh, nice.
So, I mean, these are things where like these are books that I weren't necessarily like high value comics, but for me to like find them on eBay or something, it's like I'm gonna pay like $6 for shipping, and I'm gonna overpay for the individual issue to just buy just because of the way eBay and commerce works online, and to just be able to like walk to one booth and be like, yep, they have number 5, number 17, and number 24. Like, next run that I'm trying to complete.
I love that.
New Mutants I've been working on for years and years, and that felt like a big momentous thing for me.
Yeah.
To complete that run. And it was weird to just be like by myself and be like, I did it. You know what I mean? And to not like be like high-fiving people and like
There's no trumpeting angels. There was no.
and the guy checking me out was like busy. and like it's like I wanted to say to somebody like, these were the last 3 issues of New Mutants that I needed. I have 1 through 100 now.
Hey, can someone recognize this is a big moment for me?
And yeah, I've completed that run. First Cable, first Deadpool, I've got it all.
Some kid's like, whatever, man.
No, I understand that. It's like when we were at GarageCon and I found that one Moon Knight variant.
Yeah.
So I have every Moon Knight cover of the entire run. I get it. I'm sorry that I wasn't there to.
Yeah.
You did text us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I responded with, "Whoa,
Let's
Yeah.
go.
Let's go, bro. Let's go, guys. A lot of them at the con.
Too many.
But to the point I'm trying to make is a lot of booths at C2E2 feel like that. Whereas at Kansas City-sized convention, you're going to a lot of booths that have a lot of like variant junk.
Yes.
that's the stuff I take home, baby."
At C2E2, they have the comic you're looking for.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There will be a booth with the thing that you want there.
There was an entire booth called Blank Covers, and they had
Yeah.
like 500 long boxes full of blanks.
So something that Andy and I noticed while we were kind of like looking through boxes is that the smart vendors had specific long boxes of just like, hey, here's creators that are here at Planet or at C2E2. And like, so
Go
they
get the
had
stuff signed.
Yeah, so they had like Chip Zdarsky books. They had Tim Seeley books. Like they had stuff pre-pulled for you of just like, yeah, we know they're here. Like, go through this box if you want to find something for them to sign real quick. Which I thought was brilliant.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah. And you mark all those $1 more expensive.
Hell
right?
yes.
Yeah.
Finder's fee.
We'll get into some of this when we do show and tell, but exclusives is another thing where like a con the size of Kansas City, you're getting maybe like one con exclusive, and it's cool that you've got like a cover for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or whatever.
whatever.
C2E2 is like there are all kinds of different independent retailers that have one of 300, one of 200, one of 50 variant covers that they're selling. Mondo is making a presence there, and they're selling posters and things and toys that they're only selling at the convention. And then the only other time you're going to be able to like get those things is if they didn't sell out and if they're doing some sort of like warehouse find sale. Funko had like a ridiculous party with people losing their damn minds to like get free giveaways and fill bags full of exclusives and stuff like that. Like to me, these are the things that like, even if you're not a Funko Pop fan, it's so, or a Mondo, which like, if you don't think Mondo's cool, like
Unsubscribe, bro.
I don't realize what I have in common with you. But just the fan, like I couldn't be less of a Funko Pop fan, but the fanfare surrounding Funko Pop and the event that they held was so much fun.
The hysteria.
And it got me excited, and people were just like nutso to get their hands on these things. And you had people like buying exclusive Funkos and then walking to the like dining like tables and immediately selling them on Whatnot and just
my
being like,
God.
I got 20 of these exclusive C2E2 Funkos, first one on sale. Like
Let's
with their little
go.
camera setup. Let's go. Great buy, Greg666. Like, hell yeah, bro.
There was, okay, side tangent. There was a lot of Whatnot auctions going on
Not at-
whilst the con.
Not at booths, just random
at a table.
dickheads just being like, I bought like 6 exclusive covers. Now I'm selling them to you for like $10 more than I paid for them.
Here's the Do You Poo Michael Jordan variant.
I
got him, folks. I got him.
That was the like disillusionment for me because like So the Planet exclusive that I thought was the coolest was when they had the Detective 1000 variant. And it was like Doug Mankey was there and he did the variant and you could only get it at Planet and it was like $15.
Yeah.
So like my brother was there and he's not like a comic guy, but like he bought one, you know, just to have it as like a memento. The exclusives at C2E2 like started at $20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For like
But they were
do you poo nonsense.
Way more limited.
Yes.
Yeah, but like
Well, your
There's way more of them and they're way more limited.
your Department of Truth was only 10, wasn't it?
that was only $10.
And that
was,
comic's selling for $100 online.
Yeah.
That's your Wolverine cover this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean
Department of Truth.
that was definitely the get.
Yeah.
But like, you know, the Moon Knight cover that I wanted that I purchased, it's like $50.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not like that crosses the line of like that's not a memento for the thing. The Department of Truth is definitely like a memento.
Yeah.
The Moon Knight is like, oh, I bought that because it
That's
was
a targeted ad.
yeah, it's a
The
targeted
Moon Knight
ad.
is a targeted ad,
Yeah, for sure.
which is fine because that's why you're there.
Yeah, they got me.
Yeah. I don't think you are upset you got that.
No, but I couldn't like buy 5 exclusives. I could buy 2.
Well, you don't have a Whatnot channel.
I love the exclusives. I love the hype. I feel like that builds so much of like the mystique of what C2E2 is. I feel like the opportunities with creators is like
Through the roof.
Like there are more creators who are willing to make things for you, who have systems in place to accommodate those things than there are at your smaller conventions. So like if you see Mirka Andolfo is going to be there and you're a Mirka Andolfo super fan, she's got stuff on her website to pre-buy commissions. She's got people ready to like sell you different versions of what she can do in different time frames for what she can accommodate. Everybody's doing this thing, save for a couple people who don't manage their time well. Patreon side combo.
Man. Spicy.
Who say from 2 to 4 o'clock, all I'm doing is sketching. And we've got time set aside for that. And you may want a $40 sketch from me to do a jam piece. And you may want like a $200 cover commission that's like gorgeous. And they're making that stuff happen for you like on the con floor.
Yeah.
And that stuff is kind of like fewer and far between at your more mid-sized conventions. Whereas like C2E2 itself is more of a well-oiled machine in the sense that a lot of the artists are repped and they've got systems in place that it's like, hey, this whole aisle of people are, you know, such and such creators. And we'll sell you the CGC verification right here, right now. We'll sell you like a remark right here, right now, and be very transparent with what those are going to cost, so you don't have to have this awkward interaction with.
And we'll put you in a time slot.
The
so
creator, exactly right. So you kind of understand how your weekend's going to unfold. So that's like a great thing about C2E2. It's also like way more. I'll say this year a little less so, maybe, that like normally C2E2 is really good about saying, here are our big creators. We're putting them on the corners of aisles, because these huge, massive lines that build can wrap like down the like aisles that don't get in the people's way.
Yeah.
And can be facilitated a little better. There was a handful of people that I
line
was
management
just like,
was not great at
No.
really any con I've been to
yeah,
this year.
Jenny Frizen was right across from
She was
Chip Zdarsky.
steamy.
Ooh, man.
And they both had just like frustratingly massive amounts of people waiting for autographs. And then Jorge Jimenez was in the middle of an aisle.
Yeah.
Who else was in the middle of an aisle? There was a handful of people.
Tim Seeley, Rod Reyes, like there's David Finch.
David Finch. I never
Like
even
these
saw.
massive names
Yeah.
are just like placed in the middle or in
Yeah.
between two like independent
And so
artists, and you're just
yeah.
like, this
at
line is
any given
unruly.
time, like best case scenario, they're gonna have like 5 people waiting.
Yeah.
And that's just like really rough in the middle of an aisle.
And I think they really overestimate. Not to slam, like Patrick Horvath was the one that I saw. Like he got a really like choice end spot, and like I think they assumed that he would be really slammed.
Too independent.
And I never saw him have more than like 4 people in his line.
That's the thing. I feel like someone's got like a ton of hype with like mega comic book fans. You ain't working on Batman, homie.
Yeah.
Like,
Or Spider-Man
Or
or Daredevil.
yeah, like these are the things that it's like, yo, the guy who's doing Batman cut like Mark Brooks and
Yes.
like,
Fuck.
oh, another person,
Ryan Otley.
Ryan Otley was in the middle of an aisle. Tony Daniels was in the middle of an aisle, and it's like, yo, don't put Tony
Yeah.
in the middle of an aisle. He's
Yeah.
like an icon.
Okay, well, all right. Can we just say, like, in general, if they're a writer, put them in the middle. If they're an artist, put them on the
Sure.
outside
Yeah.
because their lines are going to be long.
Artists have the most fanfare, yeah.
I've always wondered why they don't set up comic book artists like they do like your movie or TV guests that
Yeah.
come to cons.
Right.
And their setup of just like, I have a booth and then it's a vertical line
Yeah.
facing outwards, and then you just line up, you get your thing, and then you exit out the exit line.
Yep.
Like, I don't know why they haven't adapted that into comic book area.
Yep.
And I don't know
Because-
if they need someone to smack their little hands and tell them to start doing it.
Because the Blue Ranger needs that line space, Greg.
That's fine. But you
Every
can-
time the Blue Ranger is there, he needs at least, at minimum, the size of my house in terms of square footage.
So then restructure the comic or creator area.
Yeah.
Because I don't need 13 vendors who are trying to sell me Hello Kitty pillowcases.
Look, man, if I don't get my titty covers, I'm going to be a grumpy boy.
Listen, Tim Seeley's still going to be there. All right. Could you make sure she's naked? They need to restructure that
Yeah.
severely.
For sure.
And I'll be the herald for that.
But can I say, so this was the first C2E2 that I felt like has returned from
Yes.
COVID glory. It didn't feel hampered or hindered at all by the pandemic.
No.
It felt like massive again. It felt like it had big fanfare again. While we didn't have massive like booths from DC and Marvel like we once did, I kind of feel like those days are past us of
And I don't understand why.
big publishers like that making a huge presence at these sorts of conventions.
But
which
to be
is
fair, I never saw
unfortunate,
Image or
but-
Boom or Ahoy either. Like,
yeah,
where's the publisher investment into comics?
it's fun for me. I love going to publisher booths and seeing like their exclusives or creators that they have featured right at their booth. There were tons of places like Unknown and other like the Comic Mint and Bird City that were
Yeah,
like,
but those are-
we've got like Tony Fleeks and all these other people like at our booths,
Yeah.
and they're like, we're selling you our exclusives that are like really limited numbers, and they're ready to sign and remark them like right here. Like that's fucking killer.
Yeah.
Like C2E2 for me is like the best con in the Midwest, hands down. It's second only to like your obviously San Diego, New York City, and then
I think I'll officially say San Diego Comic Con is a pop culture Comic Con. Like, it's a pop culture.
not so much like
event.
just like comics.
Yeah, well, you go to SDCC to like see the next big Marvel movie announcement.
Yeah.
You don't go to like, get your Department of Truth 1 signed.
Yeah.
I think New York is the behemoth
Yeah.
of comic book
that's for the real
conventions.
ones.
Yeah. Which I hear is unruly to get around.
Yeah. We've never been to Emerald. We're going to try to go next year, but Emerald maybe is like on par with C2E2. I don't know, but like C2E2 is like
Report back in a year.
C2E2 is a great one. Obviously, like there's all kinds of exclusives that we are going to show that we picked up, and way more than that. There were over 30 exclusives popping around at different booths.
Do you have your exclusives handy?
Yeah, so I think we'll get into that part of it, but
Nice.
ultimately Essence is big recommend on C2E2 if you live in the Midwest.
Yeah.
It's like a must go to con. We did a day and a half, I'd say.
Almost 2 days. We were there Saturday
Yeah.
longer than I thought we were going to be there.
And of those 2 days, we spent 95% of it in Artist Alley.
Yeah.
There was a whole other half
Yes.
of the convention that was just like
Wares.
wares, right?
Yeah,
Just
we didn't LARP. We didn't play D&D. We didn't play any board games.
none of the video game engagement.
None of that.
Caitlin went to like a few panels.
None of the I didn't do panels, but there was amazing programming. Like my brother, and me are like a huge draw, and they did a
Yes.
free panel. If you're already in there, you paid for a ticket, obviously, but
Yeah.
you're going to the panel.
They did like 4 panels.
Yeah.
Over the weekend.
Which I think is
Absolutely
like
bonkers.
That's what people want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and good on you for delivering on that. That's killer. But
Yeah, C2E2 is really like second only to TowerCon in terms of Midwest cons.
TowerCon is one of my favorite cons.
Shout
I
out.
get so many good
Shout
books
out-
from TowerCon.
shout out to TowerCon. Hard to
Best
beat.
car boys.
Our local con.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, the TowerCon shirt. They had an amazing,
All right, guys, got a TowerCon shirt.
amazing fantasy parody shirt of the guys who put on TowerCon. So props to them for hooking us up with those. All right, let's do our fun stuff from C2E2.
I brought one that I really want to share. So this is a normal variant of
Yeah.
the Sex Criminals number 11, second printing. And so a thing I do at cons is, if you're not familiar with the Sex Criminals number 11 variant, it is a picture of Chip and Matt,
Yep.
creators of Sex Criminals, who have had their faces removed for like a sketch. And so that's kind of like a funny thing to do instead of it's like a normal sketch variant. And so what I've started to do at cons is I've had different creators add faces or characters to the sketch section.
I love this. It just looks like such a fucking clusterfuck.
So-
It's like in the best way.
So Aaron
It's so Greg.
Cutter, who worked with Chip on Daredevil,
Yeah.
drew Chip Zdarsky on Matt Fraction's body, which is incredible. If you've ever met Aaron at a con, he does 5-minute drawings
Yeah.
that he actually sets up like a stopwatch for, and you pay for it. And you
This
give
was so cool.
genius. It's an incredible idea.
And it's like, not only is it like, does he find a way to make remarks affordable for everybody in that way? It's almost like a fun game.
It's a game show.
It's like, look what amazing things he can do in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like a challenge to himself and like a fun thing for you to walk away with.
It's like the person that has to draw a picture upside down in like
yeah.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God, what the hell is he doing? Oh, it's Statue of Liberty.
Yep.
And like, so it's like, it's fanfare. It's just wild.
Yeah.
And then I got Rod Reyes to do Venom, a Venom head on Chip's body. And Rod is incredible. He's an amazing artist. Yeah. He is a high like art creator. And I'm very thankful that when I came to him and said, can you draw Venom's head on Chip Zdarsky's body? He went, yeah, absolutely. Without hesitation was just like, yeah, 100%. And so it was so cool to have him draw that on there. And then, of course, I had Chip sign it and then draw Jughead.
Because he wrote Jughead.
He wrote Jughead, which is, if you haven't read it, it's a fantastic run. And just to meet those 3 creators and just have it be a part of my con experiment that I do is just very, very fun. And I've noticed that like when I ask creators to do this silly little stuff, they really get enjoyment out of it because it is kind of a break from the monotony. Of like, you know, can you draw Superman over and over again? So
and just to see like, you know, Aaron Kuder and Chip Zdarsky are friends.
Yes.
And to walk over to Chip Zdarsky after you had his buddy sketch him is just like he gets a kick out of it. They both got a kick out of it.
And it is funny because I handed it to Chip after Aaron had done it. And Chip was just like, you don't even have to tell me who drew that. Like, I could tell that was Aaron right away. And he got just like Chip himself got like a huge kick out of it. Just like, wow, this is like kind of a fun idea.
And the way I feel like the way you presented it to Aaron too was like you were ready to pivot. You were like,
sure,
can you do this? Like, I understand it's a strange ask. Like, that's the energy to come at somebody with when you want something like this.
Right.
It's like, if you would rather just do Daredevil because you, like, did Daredevil recently, fine.
And
I'm ready to be happy with that.
Because Andy had the original cover for this.
Oh, yeah, with their, like, human heads.
With their real human heads. So Andy was able to hold up a picture of Chip Zdarsky.
He had an actual reference there. Yeah.
So that was great, but it was funny because like I was talking to Chip to get the little comment or remark, and I was like, "Listen, I would love Matt Fraction on here, but I would also take a Jughead." And he goes, "Let's do a Jughead."
Yeah.
he was like, I would love to do a Matt Fraction, but I don't. He's like, that's for. And like he looked at the line, he's like, that's for a different time, and I was like, I totally get it. Let's do a Jughead. I just got done
doing a kazoo, and
I am worn out. Did she tell you none of this? Because I said no other characters.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I think that is a good idea. Like, don't be so beholden to your idea of a commission. Like, be flexible.
Yep.
Bend, not break kind of thing.
Yes.
And
the important thing is you're getting original artwork from someone you're a fan of.
Yeah, exactly. And when I have like 6 of these covers. I'm going to get them filled and like put on my wall. And it's going to be like a fun conversation piece for my Nerd Cave area, which is great. So, yeah, that's my advice to you if you're going to a con. Have a bit.
Yeah.
Have a fun thing you want to get accomplished because it adds to the experience because you're seeking it out. Yep. You're trying to get it taken care of. So that was all that I did. And then, I will shout out my buddy Chris Hacker of the Oblivion Bar Pod who got me this.
I haven't seen this.
This Christian Ward original Two-Face.
Wow,
sketch.
Very cool. Was Christian Ward there?
No. So Christian Ward gave that to the Oblivion Bar Pod to give away because they got the Christian Ward to the exclusive for the Oblivion Bar.
Which is on the back.
Which is right here. And so, Chris was just like, hey, you won the giveaway. And I was like, yes!
That's awesome. Very cool.
So I'm excited to get that all taken care of and framed and in the comic room down there.
Right on.
So
I do love that it's on a backer board. That's a cool idea.
Yeah, totally.
Nice.
All right. What do you got, Andy?
Oh, me next?
Yeah. The rest were just signatures that I got from Tunyon and Tim Seeley. And
I got a couple SIGs. The 2 cool SIGs I got were I got my Revival. Greg, if you could help.
Oh, sorry.
My Revival #1, triple signed by Frizen, Norton, and Tim Seeley.
So now you join my club because I also have mine triple signed.
Yeah. I also like that it's in 3 different colors. I thought that was pretty
That is
Which Revival just got announced TV show on Sci-Fi.
I also got my Department of Truth #1 triple signed by Tinian, Martin Simmons, and Jenny Frizen.
And Sasquatch.
This was my Howard remark from Chip that I thought turned out so great.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
That's killer.
And that was like a $20 remark. Like for $20, you cannot beat that.
Yeah, he looks pissed. I love that.
So Greg, it really inspired me for this. This is something I think I'm gonna do. I bought this originally. That's a plain black variant of Alien #1 that a guy airbrushed to make it look like an eclipse. And that's a double blank. So he did like a Starfield. And I think I'm gonna have artists do like little xenomorph heads or face huggers
around it.
Yeah, whatever they're kind of feeling. And to Greg's point, like, hey, do you want to do a xenomorph or a face hugger? If not, do a Jughead on this other thing.
Yeah,
you
right.
know. But I just this like really struck me because we were there on Alien Day 426.
Oh yeah.
So it just really hit me, and I had to pick that one up.
Very cool.
What else? I got some exclusives. I think Mike D and I doubled up on a few of these, but we'll just rapid fire. I got this Department of Truth that's like X-Files. This one is for 10K, one of our beloved Patreons. It's the House of Secrets, whatever, homage, the first Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
I got this sick Venom variant that I was too incredible to leave on the table.
Whoa, that's wild.
Here's the Department of Truth that Mike D was talking about. That was...
These are going for a ton of money.
They're like... It's like an ash can. They're on like newsprint.
It's listed as
It's
like,
all red ink.
Yeah, and it's all red.
Yeah, the title is Department of Truth Bootleg.
Oh, is that what it is?
In CLZ.
And then this was my real hunt item. It's a Mexican Spanish language reprint of Moon Knight #1 with the Bill Sienkiewicz. I think it's a 1 in 2,500 variant. But it's in foil, and that's a cover that I will never be able to afford.
Yep.
So
The non-foil.
the non-foil,
So they printed 1,000 of these.
Yeah.
You got number 379 out of 1,000.
I think you got three.
We have the two in a row.
380. Yeah. This was also cool. I got the Man's Best ash can, but that's actually the ash can that was exclusive to like the retailer summit or something.
Oh, cool.
So they had them both for the same price. So I picked up obviously like the limited one.
It's Jesse Lonergan. I love that stuff.
Yeah. He was not at the table, unfortunately, but I had to pick up the ash can. And then this was a Turok like zine that I bought that was like, I mean, based on that cover alone, I could not leave it there.
Yeah, that's
I
rad.
had to pick it up.
Very cool.
And this guy was at Planet last year, and he ran out of those Turok mags.
No.
So I was like, this is not happening again.
Yeah,
I
now you
have to
gotta
come
do
home
it.
with one.
That is sick.
Yeah. And then I got some cool prints, but this was the original art that I bought by a guy named Warren Montgomery.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Never seen any of his stuff before, but I'm kind of a sucker for Godzilla stuff, and this was $60, and it came with a color print of the same art.
That rules.
Yeah,
So,
that's
like-
an insane piece of artwork you
For
have right there.
$60.
Yeah,
I was like
Wild.
absolutely
Well done.
blown away. So,
good get.
yeah. And then the last thing I got, I couldn't go home without any
Metal references.
metal references and Moon Knight.
I didn't see this.
Yeah.
That rules.
It's Metallica's And Justice for All, but it's Khonshu's Justice for All.
Give me a break. Love
So,
it.
obviously. Those are all my treasures.
Good treasures.
Nothing got destroyed on the flight. So-
Which is even more insane.
It is. All right, I wanted to start with a shout out to our bros
Yes.
at the Oblivion Bar pod.
We are basically doing a crossover episode of how many times we've mentioned the Oblivion Bar.
Well,
So-
we want to kiss them, so
I've got this on the main
awesome.
screen, but they did this homage to
Wolverine 8.
Wolverine 8 with the Hulk and Wolverine with their two hosts, and they signed these. They had them printed on amazing paper. They feel like a screen printed.
Yeah. Made me jealous. I was like, we
hand-pulled
need First
print.
Issue Club
And
posters.
these were their kind of exclusives for the panel we joined them on. Amazing posters. So I had to get this in a frame, and I'm excited to put it up in the studio and have some of our podcast buddies represented. So one of my favorite things I got from the con was from buddies of ours.
yeah, that was rad.
Okay, this was an artist that I found. Is that showing up on?
yeah.
Smaller screen. Did this really cool print. I unfortunately don't have the name of the artist handy, but did this really cool print of Magic and Kitty, which, you know, I'm a huge New Mutants fan, and they've got like a special friendship and the bond over their little, you know, dragon pet. That's really fun. So I loved when I saw this, I was just like, I gotta scoop this up and put it up in my office.
Well,
so.
and you were telling me, I think, that the Kitty Pride, she's gonna make stickers that's like a transparent background, so you can slap Kitty Pride on
Kitty
stuff
on anything,
and it makes it look like she's phasing in and out of something, which I think is a brilliant idea.
Yep. So I'm really stoked on that poster print. Is really fun, and it's again, it's kind of hard to find some stuff with like these characters that isn't like
super horny,
over sexualized, especially Magic. And it's like,
I was gonna say, you got the clothed version. Interesting.
Yeah. That's another thing for me with like Magic is one of my favorite characters, and I think of her as a teenager.
Yeah.
And I kind of hate how sexualized and like bondage that character has become, because the version of that character that I identify with, and
well, they haven't really aged her up.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They just put her in like crazy outfits,
right?
And
they aged her up to exactly 18.
Yeah, exactly.
18 in one day.
That's right. So I don't know. It takes a woman artist doing fan art to give her
which I noticed
costume.
There was a lot more women vendors there selling like superhero stuff.
Very cool,
and it was rad as fuck.
It really was.
And had we not initiated our no Prince rule this trip, we would have been a lot more. Oh,
all right. This one was really cool. Rod Reyes, original Danny Moonstar, like I mentioned. Huge New Mutants fan. This was on Rod Reyes' table. And he had a sign up that was like commissions like $400 or something.
Mm-hmm. Full page is $700.
Full page $700. This was so like $400 for like a bust or something like that. And so these were up and they just looked like they were examples.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my God, I would kill for that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have $400 to like ask him to do another Danny Moonstar or something like that. If you don't know, Rod Reyes did a lot of the New Mutants covers and some of my favorite ones. And
from the Krakoa era, right?
Yes, exactly right. And he's got a style that feels very Sienkiewicz to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And is kind of just like, that's the visual style I really resonate with when I think of like New Mutants and where they came from and how they became what they are today is kind of like got solidified during like the Demon Bear Sienkiewicz era stuff. So the fact that his style really resonates with that is like cool to me. Greg was like, what would you pay for something like that? And I was like, I don't know, like $150 is probably like as high as I could go. And then you were like, are these for sale or are these just examples? And they were like, no, those are for sale. The prices are on the back. And you flipped it over and it said $150.
Yeah.
And you were like, well, what are you going to do? And I was like, I'm going to fucking buy it.
Yeah.
Like, I was so stoked. I never would have thought to ask. They seemed like they were just examples of what his $400 commissions were. And so I assumed this was a $400 bust.
It should be.
And the fact that it was 150 blew my mind. One of my favorite New Mutants cover artists, and you know, in the tradition of Sienkiewicz, and he's got a style all of his own that feels like sometimes like an homage or nod or in the family of Sienkiewicz. So really glad to have a Rod Reyes piece in the collection like this. So really cool watercolor bust at a good size with one of my favorite characters ever.
That was one of the cooler moments of the con was just like discovering that those original art were way more affordable than we could have imagined.
There was a girl in this Chip Zdarsky line across from us that got one of the $700 commissions of Moon Knight from Reyes, and I would never hit a woman
But I would rob one. It was incredible.
I would make her feel like she was gonna get hit.
Oh,
I'm
no.
joking. But man, it was absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
It was the Mr. Knight costume, and man,
That's
yeah, kudos to that person of
Oh,
just
yeah.
like dropping a fucking dime on an amazing piece of work.
yeah.
Yeah. Tragic Girls Co. is an artist
Yes.
I've followed forever on Instagram, and I'm such a big fan. And they've got this killer. What they do is a lot of like pulp comics illustrations.
Yeah, pop
that
art.
feature a lot of these like night nurse era kind of women that are like always crying in comics. And obviously the woman creating these, so they put like a fun spin on this thing. And this is a character being like, oh, Mercury's in retrograde.
I love it.
Crying. And my wife saw this and was like, oh my God, I love that so much. This has always been one of my favorite prints of hers. She's got a website of all of her stuff. Definitely check her out if you need some wall art. Just has like so many fucking rad pieces for comic book fans who are feminists, and like cool shit like this is like very rad. So so glad she was there and I got to have like a fan moment with her.
Up next, from Mike D, is
He's got to flip through the box.
something.
I got a handful of exclusives. This was a facsimile of Talia al Ghul's first appearance, but with a new cover that was an exclusive for Comic Mint. They printed 400 of these. I've got number 57 out of 400. Really cool
And I
cover.
burn the rest. I have the only one.
So, yeah, Detective Comics 411. And the artist is Wu Chol-Lee. So, I thought that cover was sick. Really wanted it.
And you got it.
You got it.
And I got it. This was their booth was the first one I ran to just because they had a lot of really rad exclusives. I got the new Deadpool #1. Greg Horn did a Gwenpool cover. That's maybe my favorite Greg Horn cover of all time.
I saw another Greg Horn variant that he's doing, like
Yeah.
for Deadpool 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, it's incredible too. So Greg Horn might just be like,
I feel like he's recognizing that like people don't want me to recreate Maxim magazine covers.
yeah,
They would rather
Not
me
this guy.
they would rather me do like my art style but with like characters from comic books.
yeah. Well, it feels like his stuff's like way closer to like an art germ now.
Yeah, right. He needs to dial it back and do like less horny, like
Yes.
Well, more horny in that it's truer to his art style.
sure.
Respectful horny.
Well, because his name is Greg Horn.
Oh, okay. I missed
So
the bit.
that's an out of 400,
What number did you get?
69.
125.
Hell yeah.
Boo, sell it. And then lastly.
All right.
Oh, God. Yes, let's talk about it.
We got a Do You Poo. Michael Jordan. Since we were at C2E2 in Chicago, this is a Michael Jordan homage.
This is like the lost city of Atlantis.
This
To
is one of
me.
those things where I was just like, this is a 1 of 50.
It was only $700.
It's numbered on the cover, 36 out of 50. It was $20. And I was up there buying my Talia al Ghul and my Deadpool. And I was like, fuck it. Give me one of those.
give me the poo.
I was like, do you have any of those? I was like, there's only 50 of them. So they're going to sell out. So I might as well just like do it.
This has been a running bit on this show.
Well, and I see these on eBay all the time, and we've always joked, like, is there anything inside of these comics, or are they just like dumb homage covers? I opened this one up.
Oh.
It is like Winnie the Pooh's become public domain. Let's do an issue that's like, what if Winnie the Pooh became Deadpool?
Okay.
That's all it is. And like other characters in Winnie the Pooh,
Is
like
it drawn well?
yeah, it looks like a fun spoof comic. And I think people like it. I didn't read it, but I just flipped through it. And I think people enjoy it. And it's just become like a weird comic book spoof thing.
This is beyond weird to me.
But fun chrome cover with Michael Jordan.
Also, the proportions on this Michael Jordan poo is frightening me.
Yeah, it's weird with him like musculature.
Like just jacked legs
to be able to dunk.
And then like barrel-esque upper body.
He's a chunky boy.
Yeah, like he's like 1930s Superman.
All right, so this is one of my favorite things I got. There's a set of covers of Batgirl. What number was that? Batgirl 23. So Josh Middleton did this kind of like what's now become a famous cover of Batgirl. And so Bird City did a chrome version of it, or like foil version. And on top of that, they had Derek Chu do an homage.
Mm-hmm.
So same pose, same Batgirl on a foil in his style.
Same bat pose, same
bat
girl.
time. I'm going batty. What else you got?
He's got one more cover.
And sorry I did these out of order, but there's one more cover. And then
Ooh, is it the Frizen?
yeah, Jenny Frizen also did one. So it's a set of 3 covers, which I thought was really cool.
Was the Frizen one not foiled?
The Frizen one isn't foil. They didn't offer a foil in it. And maybe it's just her art style didn't come across as
Which
well
means it's signable, though.
in foil. But yeah, you can have it signed. So I took this over to her. It's the only one of the only. I had her sign 2 comics, the same one that you had for Department of Truth. But really, really beautiful cover.
Yeah, that looks dope.
So I love that one. A couple things I just had signed. I got that one triple signed, which was exciting. This Joker #1 by Mark Brooks, Mirka Andolfo, and James Tynion.
Hell yeah.
Mark Brooks was awesome. Glad to see him there.
Did he have prints for sale?
No, he didn't. This was a Noctera that I already had signed by Scott Snyder. And then we got Tony Daniels to sign it as well.
I got that one too.
Tony S. Daniel.
Me and Andy had the same issue.
Yeah, so I'm convinced that if Mike D gets a 9.8, that one's actually mine.
I already had this signed by Leah Williams, so I had Jeff DeCal, who did the cover.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Sign this What If Magic.
I was going to say, I didn't see Leah Williams there. That would have been awesome.
Same Moon Knight.
Moon Knight, baby.
That Andy got.
And we're certificate of authenticity twinsies or neighbors.
Oh, this comic. My homies at the Oblivion Bar Pod gave me this Killer Gambit Rogue issue that is a cover that I've always loved, but this is like a weird exclusive that's like...
Is that Momoko?
Yeah, it's Peach Momoko. But it was like a weird retailer exclusive or convention exclusive that's like very hard to find. So the fact that they knew that this was something I loved and tracked it down for like a fun, podcast meetup exchange gift thing,
Yeah.
like meant a lot to me. So
And all we brought was t-shirts.
the fact that they gave me anything means a lot to me, and then the fact too that they like nailed it and gave me something that's like a hard to find comic that's really cool.
Yeah. Rad.
Really rad.
Yeah, they gave me the Moon Knight hip hop variant from
That's right.
Moon
Yeah.
Knight #1 from the Lemire
Dude, so
Smallwood
sick.
run.
I got a bag full of rocks.
This is my like Howard the Duck jam piece cover that I've been working on for a while. So this year I had Joe Quinones added a tiny Howard remark to it. Aaron Kutter did one of his fun little 5-minute remarks to it and kind of did like more of like a movie version of Howard that I love so much. And then I've had Chip, who did a cover remark at LA Comic-Con a while back. Jim Mahfood did Howard the Human. And then in the middle there, I've got Katie Cook, who kicked off the cover by doing a little watercolor version right in the center. So this one's coming together. I've still got a room to cram a couple more little Howards in here. And I love doing this just because it's fun for not only for me, but when creators kind of see that you've already got like other big creators doing stuff on these, it's a little easier for them to be like, hell yeah.
Which enforces my point. Get a bit for the con.
Yeah. So this is a fun one to just like lug this cover around until it's like filthy with Howard the Ducks. And like people are willing to do it like cheap because it's a fun thing that they know is like for you because you're a fan and you love it. Like there's no selling this. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like there's no authenticating. There's no like
right. Yeah.
Like grading it at this point. It's been like through like 5 different artists' hands. Like this is something that people know is like for me.
Can't wait for your Jim Lee and Joe Quesada Howard the Ducks.
Dude, that's got to be next.
And then my last one here is
Chipper.
I had Chip do that illustration of Howard a little bigger on the cover for this bad boy, and then Joe did a remark of Howard on the bottom with his autograph. So writer and illustrator, SIGs, with art from both. I'm like stoked on this one because this was one of like this comic was one of the first ones that I was like, oh, I love Chip Zdarsky.
Yeah.
So super stoked to do this. Waited in line for quite a while with you homies to make sure I got this one taken care of on Saturday, and I'm so stoked I did.
It is very funny to me that none of us got Batman signed by Chip Zdarsky. Like,
yeah, right.
The
it's like,
failsafe run is so good, and all of us were like, nope, Howard and Sex Criminals.
Yeah.
Jughead, please. Bat who?
Yeah, he's got to do so many Daredevil and
Yeah.
and Batman things. And
Every other person in his line besides us had a Daredevil or Batman for
so
him to
much
sign.
Daredevil.
And I was just like, oh, I'm so happy I brought this fucking sex criminal book. Like,
Yeah.
because this is fucking legit.
Yep.
Oh,
Wow. I think we did it.
that is one beefy con recap, C2E2 2024. Contractually, we have cemented our promise to C2E2 so we can get press passes for next year. We cover the con. You can't say we didn't.
Also contractually brought to you by Boulevard.
Yum, yum, gimme some. Send my taste buds into another dimension with Space Camper IPA from Boulevard Brewing Company. We are very happy to be partnered up with them again to help celebrate their 5-year anniversary with the Space Camper line. We were there.
Wow, that's
We were
wild.
there in the beginning. We helped launch their Space Camper stuff in year 1, so they decided to bring us back for year number 5. They have... We got to preview some of the beers they're going to be showcasing in 2024, and they are absolutely wild. And we got to taste a couple, and we were excited to showcase those as they roll out this following year. So stay tuned for that. We're crossing our fingers to hopefully get Adam on the show again to talk beer and comics. He's been on the show before, so stay tuned. But yeah, thank you, Boulevard Brewing Company, for sponsoring the show.
I would drink some, but it's empty because I drink it already.
Yes, we were drinking the Quantum Hop IPA all episode with a 9.5 alcohol volume. When you drink responsibly, folks. And if you don't drink responsibly, host a podcast.
Love you. Bye. Join us on the Patreon for more.
Spicy talk. Oh, man, we have all the details. It's going to be wild.